this type of food because of the many organizations, like I said, basically youth serving organizations have really taken the leadership role around the country in terms of educating folks and, with young people eating healthy food in these programs. I'm not talking about inside schools because we know that our schools have the worst food anywhere, but we have to change that. But many of these organizations right here in your city that are working with youth, and those young people go home, they're the messengers. They're the ones that are changing their families. They're the ones that are bringing their parents to places like Growing Power to volunteer. They've been inspired and they're involved. So I think it's word of mouth. We didn't have this publicity machine to talk about our work, so it's been folks coming to workshops, going back and telling 10 of their friends about what's going on. And that's how this movement has grown into a revolution, because when you look back in the 60s and 70s, 80s, and 90s, we saw it grow. We saw hippies drop out and go out in the country and start the organic movement. And now we're seeing that it's becoming part of mainstream America, where it's just not people saying things like, oh, you're eating that yuppie food or whatever. I think it's changed especially in the last couple of years. And one of the things that has helped make that change is the fact that we've gotten an awful lot of people sick from our industrial food system, from our food system that's shipping food 1,500 miles away into our cities and so forth. So unfortunately, that is what has happened. And like I said before, now we have politicos, we have universities, we have corporate companies. Those top-down operators are now wanting to join this grassroots movement that's going on right now. It's not a fad. It's really something that's here to stay.
Now, I'm going to ask a question about some of the affordability of some of the farmers market kind of food. Are we finding that it really is affordable for some of the families that are accustomed to eating cheap junk?
Well, I think either you pay for it, you're going to pay for it regardless. You're either going to pay for it up front because really good local healthy food, you're going to pay a little bit more.
I think the difference here, though, is that what you're promoting is more local, but we're talking about closer to home. We're talking about in urban areas as opposed to food that's been grown on a farm in a rural area with the expense of bringing it into the city, added on to it. So I think that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I think organic food, first of all, is artificially priced.
Could you say that a little louder?
I think the food is artificially priced.
Organic food.
Organic food. The green food, we quantify the fact that we're able to grow food beyond organics, because I think our food is beyond USDA certification of organic. Just as cheap as that food. I think if you're able to grow your own inputs as a producer, and that's what we're promoting, is that people have to grow their own soil, they have to grow their own inputs, then you're able to keep the prices down. If you're able to use renewable energy as part of this system, because that's what we're going to have to be able to do. We have to use renewable energy. If we're able to do that, we can keep the cost down.
Some of the organic food or the organic labels seem to be creating another social divide, or has created another social divide in some ways, because people who are poor simply can't afford organic food in this artificially priced system.
Right. But again, communities are growing their own food.
Right.
We have the community gardens, the community farms, and that's how we overcome it. Because those folks in those communities have no access anyway.
Right.
You don't see any Whole Foods in some of these communities.